fellow nerds. We are here talking the Ahsoka premiere, Part 1, Master and Apprentice, and Part 2, Toil and Trouble.
Yes.
Which I was blown away. Honestly, that first scene between like that captain of the ship and Baylan, I was like, I saw the parallels to A New Hope. I was completely immersed as soon as that happened. When they said, "Oh, they're older Jedi codes," I was like, "Oh, they're old codes, but they check out."
But they check out.
Yeah. I gotta say though, that captain, like, why are you even letting these guys on the ship? Can't you just talk to them out in space and be like, "I'm not gonna let you on here. I'm not gonna fall for this thing." It's like, why even let them on?
When I first saw that scene, I'm like, are they doing a Star Trek? Are we doing a Star Trek now?
It kind of did feel a little Star Trek-y in the beginning there.
He just needed his red shirt, and it would have been perfect.
Yep. Apparently, they were all red shirts, though,
right?
As we find out.
Let me handle these. Let me handle these Imperial what's-or-nots.
He was so confident that he was going to get in there and
I'm calling them bluff.
Yes, exactly. He's like, "Ooh, that didn't work out as well as I thought it would have."
Now
the
captain of this entire ship, I will personally go and agree to these so-called Jedi.
I did like that
Mon
little
Calamarian guard.
Right.
Yes. The first time we're actually seeing more aliens, like in the actual New Republic troop, it was really cool. I liked seeing that, but yeah, short time there.
Join the New Republic. We're not racist.
Exactly.
Shin with
That's
her
the new
best
slogan. Yeah.
Shin with her best badges. We don't need no stinking badges.
Right.
Badges? We don't need no stinking badge. We'll show you our form of communication. Our identification here.
You want to see my ID?
There you go. But yeah, so what? Ray Stevenson, gotta give total props to this guy. Rest in peace. I love that they paid him respect at the end of the episode too. But throughout both episodes, just seeing Baylan, like, he is the all-star. Like, this is an incredible villain that they've got going here. And I'm just, I was blown away.
He is totally flip side Obi-Wan.
Absolutely. Good analogy there with Obi-Wan. Yeah, he very much is. Well, and you can tell he's kind of conflicted too.
My first thought was like with that initial scene where, it was like when they were on Tatooine with him and Luke, and the stormtroopers are like, show us your identification. You don't need to see my identification. This guy's like, yeah, I got your identification right here, lightsaber. Yeah. It's like, so we chose
a little bit more forceful, pun intended.
Forceful, I like that.
And honestly, his presence in every scene was almost overpowering to everybody else. I was like, man, they hired the right guy for that role.
They really did. And if the motifs throughout the first two episodes, and you can tell this is something that they built in and baked in to this show, is this Arthurian kind of storyline. So King Arthur. Yeah. And so you see these guys like dressed, like especially Baylan, dressed sort of like a real knight. And I thought that was really cool. That's a new kind of take on that Jedi look. So I really like that a lot. So we're getting that a lot in this series, which is really cool. And so awesome.
And the one thing,
did you notice?
Go ahead, Doug.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, in that first scene, in the whole taking back, getting Morgan back, the one thing that stood out to me the most of what was said was when she said, "Oh, Baylan, you're a man of your word," and he said,
"You're a man of your word."
He said, "We are getting very well paid for it," showing that he is not truly on Morgan's side. No, he is there for one thing and one thing only. And I love that because I think we're going to see a split somewhere because it was in episode 2. But when I saw this in episode 2, when she said, "Well, what do we get out of it?" He said, power beyond what you can imagine.
I wanted to ask you too about that. What do you think he meant by that? Because that seemed kind of vague to me when he said power beyond.
I like that too. I like that there's so much mystery with this show, and we have not gotten this in another Star Wars show.
Yes,
when it comes
I'm digging the
lore
mystery.
and mystery. So totally, I have no idea where it's going to go, but I think kind of what he was talking about there was magic being incorporated into this and learning about that. I mean, Palpatine, he dived into dark magic as well, and that increased his power over time. So maybe that's where they're going, because this new galaxy, and by the way, we're getting a new galaxy, first time ever, you know, the world beyond. So Peridia, I guess is what they were calling it.
The path to Peridia.
Yes, the path to Peridia, for where the Purgles have been going this whole time, the P's. So Peridia Purgles. But yeah, that's supposed to be a new place where the Force might not work exactly how it works in the current galaxy, and magic definitely takes a big play in there, with the Night Sisters being developed and brought up so much in this, as well as Morgan, as we find out, is a Night Sister, which I was like, oh,
I had no idea.
Pretty cool. Me either. So I was like, oh, new thread on this character. I like that. So I really think that they're going to be going there, trying to use magic as well to bring about this new power or whatnot. Could be wrong.
No, I think you're right. And now, you know, basically the next scene in this series was the Night Sister Temple that Ahsoka went into to get the map. Did that have Mortis written all over it to anybody else? Oh, Zepho.
Yeah, in the Zepho too, but yeah, the three figures, the three pillars, definitely gave me a sense of Mortis in there. The father, the daughter, and the son.
That too. For some reason, I was getting a lot of Fifth Element vibes.
Totally. Like whenever it comes up and the map comes up, and that it kind of looked like one of the stones in that too.
The other thing that it reminded me of, shameless plug, of Keith playing the Star Wars game using his little Force Echo Sense thing.
Oh yeah.
So when Ahsoka was doing her best impression of the lockpicking lawyer, if you haven't checked out that guy's videos, he's hilarious.
I haven't seen him. I gotta check that out.
Find him on YouTube. Lockpicking lawyer. He's so like just matter of fact, like the lockpicking lawyer here, and I've got another master lock, and 1, 2, and I've got it cracked. Okay, anyway. His videos are like 5 seconds long. He's able to break through pretty much any lock.
I mean, never trust a lawyer, but if they can pick locks like that too, extra level on top of that.
Saul Goodman.
Saul Goodman. Yes, good job.
Oh, that was good. That was good.
And I also got Indiana Jones vibes too with the beginning there. You know? Oh man, just all these levels of homage that we got in this episode.
It has to have been intentional from Filoni. He loves putting that kind of stuff in.
Absolutely.
And now the one thing that you know, the way Ahsoka took down those droids, I thought was fantastic. You know, different than what we expected. Yeah, going underneath, bringing some down to take on a few.
Yep.
But how powerful were their self-destruct mechanisms?
Oh my God! Yeah, way more powerful than what we've seen. It's like they got thermonuclear devices. Yeah, exactly. I'm like, what are they go see Oppenheimer before this and get some of these?
I was literally thinking that. I'm like, oh, okay, so we're trying to one up Oppenheimer. All right.
If there would have been no sound during that scene, I would have been like, quit stealing.
That would have made it even better. Yeah.
Right? Yeah, so, and we saw it too with in The Mandalorian as well, you know, at the end of season 1. I mean, that was like a small little blast when you know, what is it, IG 8, 88?
No, IG 11.
IG 11, yes. Yeah. When IG 11 self-destructed, small little blast compared to what these guys can do, these HK, you know, assassin droids.
I just wish one of the
Attack on Show
would have called.
Oh, Attack on Show says, calling it now, Shin Hati will be a good guy. I've got thoughts on that later.
I do too.
Yeah, she's yeah. I think both of them like definitely are not completely bad, which makes them way more interesting to me than your standard bad guy.
Yep.
As well. Even though like they definitely did rip off Vader. Yeah.
I'll be evil today. It's crime o'clock.
Baylan did say to Morgan, it'd be a shame to kill her. She's one of the last Jedis around.
Oh, I love that.
You know, he's not going to kill her. Something is going to happen, and we're going to see. He's going to get whatever he wants, and he's going to be like, "Hey, Morgan."
He knows we wouldn't have a show if he kills her, so
that's right.
Like, I can't kill you. You've got enough of her. Oh yeah. So all of a sudden we get the Mandalorian shows up, and it's now his show again.
What is the over/under on how many episodes will be Mandalorian centric?
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like he's gonna sneak at least one in there. Got to get that baby Yoda goodness. Drive up merch sales.
Whistle in one of the episodes, and it'll be like, oh, he's coming.
Maybe she'll drop in and be like, "Hey, Luke, there's some diet Siths running around."
Nice.
But Ahsoka, I was gonna go to Tashi Station for power converters.
Power converters.
All right, I got it, man. I'll take care of it.
I'll handle it. Sorry, Luke.
And
hey,
I wanted to
but
talk to you guys.
my nephew's coming to the Jedi Academy today.
Oh.
So I wanted to talk to you guys about the timeline for this. I read a couple of things, and it's a little confusing to me because, like, to me personally, I don't think that it should be where they say it's set, because they say it's supposed to be concurrent to The Mandalorian season 3.
Really?
Which, yeah. So one, the actress who plays Sabine Wren. Oh, what's her name? You got that up there?
Natasha.
Okay. Yeah, Lou Bordizzo. She apparently had an interview and she was like, "Yeah, this is running concurrently with the storyline from Mandalorian season 3." So that's the last thing I saw, and I was like, "What? That doesn't feel right to me, because this feels like it takes place right after, the episode 5 from season 2 of The Mandalorian." And it would make a lot more sense if that was the place this was put, because at this point, she doesn't know Luke Skywalker. She hasn't met him yet. And then we can get that moment finally of her meeting Luke Skywalker in the future.
I would like to see that.
Yeah, and it would make sense why she would be away and whatnot. So, yeah, I don't know, and it's an actor that's saying this, so it might not actually be the correct time frame for what they're talking about. But apparently, like, there's so much story that we haven't heard from, that's happened already in the show, with Ahsoka having taken Sabine Wren as her apprentice at one point, her Padawan, and then them having a split and everything. So all these little threads that they have out there that we have not seen, and we don't know the full story on. I'm sure we'll get a comic book or a book at some point about
well, yeah,
this,
I mean, we got the history between Sabine and Ahsoka that we don't know about. We have all of the history of Baylan. What happened after Order 66 till now?
He called himself a survivor, and he seemed pretty angry about the whole thing.
Yeah. So
and Shin Hati, like, where did he even find this girl, and how did he convince her, like, hey, I want you to be my Jedi Padawan, even though I'm not really a Jedi anymore.
And he's using Jedi stuff. She's got the Padawan braid.
Padawan braid,
And so he's still clinging on to a lot of the traditions from the Jedi as well, too. So it's really interesting to see where these characters are going, where they came from, what's going on with all this stuff. And your guys, I watched the Theory Palooza from you guys. If you guys haven't watched that, go back, watch it on YouTube. Subscribe to their channel, too, while you're at it. Come on, dudes. But I watched that, and it stuck in my head the whole time I was watching the episodes about whether or not this is a clone of Luke Skywalker's hand. And I'm like looking at the girl and everything. I'm like, she could be. She kind of looks like Luke Skywalker a little bit. I guess we could do it. I'm trying to think of like the timeline. I'm like,
I'll be back, guys. There's a bug.
Out
Hold
from
on.
Empire.
Sure.
Bugs! Ah!
It feels like one of those cursed theories. Like, it's like it's possible, but at the same time, you're like, I kind of hope not.
Right? I know. It's like, I don't know. But for me, I always had this theory that this Shin Hati is a Night Sister, or she was from there. She's from Dathomir or whatnot.
That I could buy.
Because when she found out that Morgan was a Night Sister, you're a witch, she kind of like took note and like had a little look in her eye as well. That
I thought she almost looked a bit hesitant at first.
Yeah, a little bit.
Almost like she was unsure of the situation. Like maybe she's a Night Sister that doesn't know how to use Night Sister magic.
Yeah.
Like she doesn't know how to manipulate the Force like they do.
Yeah, it's kind of like Ventress. You know, she was taken off as a little baby as well. So maybe it's a similar situation to Ventress when it comes to that character. So, yeah.
I could see that. That's a good theory.
So much mystery. Yeah. But again, like I was like, she kind of does look like Luke Skywalker, though. Wow, man. Thanks, guys. You really got this in my head. Stuck it in my crawl.
I mean, they put that panel in the comic, and I love the Vader comics. Love the Vader comics, but like they put it there, and they're like, and then we'll never reference it again. And I'm just like, why was it there?
I think the intent was a recombination of all the stuff, the whole soup of stuff that they put in for Snoke. You know, Luke's hand was one of those things, I guess. So
I guess so.
Did you get the bug, Keith?
I did. Now, all right. I don't know if you guys have discussed this already, but who else thought that Sabine should have lost her hand rather than getting Qui-Gon Jinn?
And we wouldn't have had like the fan base up in, craziness right now about it. And yeah, everybody is like, man, come on. What about Qui-Gon? Like he died right away from that.
Healthcare's improved. It's come a long way.
It has. I actually like that they kind of went to a little hospital there too. And they spent some time in there for her to heal up and whatnot. So that was really cool. But I really do think they lost us. Yeah.
My favorite part was David Tennant's Hunan going, I heard your repairs are complete.
Yes. Oh, man. David Tennant just knocked it out of the park with Hu Yang on this. I absolutely love him.
Good.
The 10th Doctor, now the 14th Doctor as well. I love that he's in this. Apparently, he recorded all of his stuff before they actually started filming. So they had all that dialogue ready to go that they can work off of, too. So they had David Tennant's voice right there with them. So
the banter between Ahsoka and him, and then between Sabine and him was fun.
I love that. He's like, for generations I've trained Padawan, and you would your Force sensitivity is way less.
I have known thousands of Padawans, and your aptitude with the Force would fall below all of them.
I was like,
burn! Point, right?
I know,
tact.
Right? Like,
tact.
Dang,
tact,
dude. I know, right? But that brought up a good point. Is like you can be a Jedi and not have a strong connection to the Force, and I like that. I like that they didn't make Sabine Wren Force sensitive, and I would have been up in arms because I'm like, where did this come from?
Yeah.
That was never established.
The only thing that I could think of that was even remotely pointing to that would be maybe when she was able to figure out how to use the Darksaber. But
yeah,
I mean, honestly, I feel like if anybody followed what the advice that Caleb had or Kanan had, anybody can really wield the lightsaber if they, I don't know, work at it hard enough.
True. And I like that message too, and that's kind of the original intent of the original trilogy is anybody can do this, anybody can learn this. And George Lucas has
anybody can be a Jedi
too. Yeah, anybody can learn the Force too. So I like that. I kind of like that aspect.
You don't have to be a Skywalker or a clone of Luke's hand.
Nope. And I think the original intent of Ahsoka taking her on as an apprentice was like, for one, she's a great warrior as well. She's got Mandalorian training and whatnot. She could hold her own with the freaking Darksaber, which we found out that Din Djarin couldn't do that. So
right,
so we have this character that's very proficient with lightsabers as well, but doesn't have a connection to the Force. And maybe that was kind of her way of being safe with who her apprentice was. She didn't want anybody else to fall to the dark side or whatnot. So maybe that was in the back of her mind. But at the same time, I was like, I was thinking too.
The one thing that I thought was almost her admitting that was part of the case. She said, I left Anakin. And then she said, I also left Sabine. Like she was almost worried that I don't want this to go wrong. Yes.
Yeah, she doesn't. I think that's constantly on her mind. And I heard this one theory that makes sense for how Hayden Christensen is going to come back in the show, because the way that she said that line, like I left Anakin and I didn't complete my training with him. Maybe he'll come back as a Force ghost in order to complete her training. It would be a beautiful thing between Ahsoka and Anakin finally coming to fruition with that. That way she can become the master that she needs to be to train Sabine Wren and get that going.
And that would make sense too before she met Luke in The Mandalorian season 3, because she's like, oh, I knew his father. Or
yeah. And that's where she would maybe find out about Luke, and maybe we'll finally get that. I really hope, out of all this stuff, I want to see her find Luke and meet him for the first time. If we don't get that, I'm going to feel very wrong.
Now, the one thing that I would say, and I'm going to borrow from Dave real quick. I'm going to just reel it in a little bit. The one reason why I don't know if that would work as well, if you remember from The Mandalorian season 2, where they had that Hollow News thing that was kind of talking about, and then Luke Skywalker, the hero of the rebellion who killed the Emperor. I wonder how many people outside of the rebellion know that Darth Vader turned back to the light, that know that he was actually the one who tossed the Emperor over. Like, I wonder how much Ahsoka even knows. Like, if his Force Ghost suddenly showed up, how would she feel in that moment? Like, does she even know that he turned back to the light, or would she be like, oh my God, it's an evil spirit?
The first thing he would ask her too is, how did you escape me when I was about to kill you? World
it's
Between
like,
Worlds, dude. Who was that whiny?
Worlds, man.
Who was that little Anakin whiny clone that saved you?
Like, who is this kid? He's trying to be me. What are you talking about?
And by the way,
that's a great point.
You know what I want to stick throughout this entire series, and for every series or movie she's in, I want that Sabine song when she was riding the bike after Clancy Brown.
Love it.
That was great.
That was.
And I love Rage
hearing
Against the Machines vibes. I was like,
I love hearing some rock music in Star Wars. That was great.
And if anybody's complaining about guitar being in a score, go back to episode 2. There was actually a guitar in John Williams' composition during the chase scene in episode 2. So it's been done before. It's just ramped up, and I love that.
Speaking of phenomenal music, what did you guys think of the beginning of the first episode when they were, doing their hallway murder, and it switched to like primarily piano?
Holy murder!
I loved it. Honestly, anytime you see music by Kevin Kinner, I know it's going to be good. But I thought that was a nice touch.
Yeah, he went above and beyond for this show, and for me, it's like I've got the impressions of the original trilogy in there. You felt those same chords and everything that John Williams put into that, as well as the old stuff from Clone Wars and Rebels, all the shows that he worked on. So he came from animation, guys. If you didn't know, Kevin, I said Kevin Kiner, but is it Keener? I don't know. I think
it's Kiner.
Is it Kiner? So,
trusting me with people's names is not a good
thing. Same, Keith. Same thing. I'm terrible with them as well. So we're all on the same.
He's gonna comment. It's pronounced Smith.
Yeah. Dang, would have never guessed that. But yeah, Kevin Kiner is outstanding. He worked on Bad Batch as well. So he's moving from animation and scoring all that into live action, and it makes sense for him to come along for Dave Filoni's Star series that he's got going on here, and he is knocking it out of the park. And he's also adding these layers in of new material. It just sounds beautiful. I love the composition at the end credits of these episodes. It's beautifully done. You have the Ahsoka theme drawn throughout, but it's just so perfect. And I have always liked Luke. Yes,
so good.
Game of Thrones. I mean, I was
it's very similar.
I was thinking that
they
too.
Had the things 100%. Mapping out, and I'm like, dun 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 dun. And I was like, they did. I mean, it was still great. I wasn't like they're ripping them off. I was like, that is a nice way to.
If you're gonna rip something off, take from the best, right? If you're gonna do that. And speaking of too, apparently, like the working title for the show. Do you guys know what that was? What they used? They do this a lot for for different movies and things, big productions. Blue Harvest was Return of the Jedi and whatnot. So they always go under like a certain name. And this one was called Stormcrow. You guys know where that's from?
No.
Yeah. What's the
What's that from?
production name? Lord of the Rings. So Gandalf Stormcrow.
Oh.
And so basically what that means is like this series is taking Ahsoka into like Gandalf's kind of realm. He's, she's Ahsoka the Grey, as it were, right now, and maybe we're going to see her transition after she completes her training as a true Jedi by the end, as Ahsoka the White. So that's where I think we're leading throughout this series.
Or if they do get to the galaxy, this new world they're building, and the Force is used differently, like maybe Baylan knows, she might become more like a mix between the Witches of Dathomir and a Jedi.
Yes.
She may.
Perfect. Yes. I love this. That's exactly what's going to happen.
Speaking of the Witches of Dathomir, 1 second.
Oh, no. We're getting schooled.
Uh-oh.
I didn't like the font in the end credit scene. I enjoyed the end credit. I did not like the font. So no, I did some reading to try and figure out, because that's what I do. I did some reading to try and figure out what it was, and it was wholly created for the show. And it is supposed to be an English variation of the new language that they're going to be introducing that is used solely by the Witches of Dathomir. And it's supposed to be inspired by runes, by runic symbols.
Okay, yeah.
So now we've got Arabesh to interpret. We've got Mandalorian, and now we've got whatever they're going to call this new language.
You're going to have that not your status quo in that as well. So you're like, damn it, more work for me. That's the real issue we got here.
But I remember, in the second episode when Morgan showed up with the star map, and she was like, "Oh, an ancient people from a distant galaxy." Sounds like she knows a lot more about what's going on over there than anyone.
Yeah.
Than anyone else. So I was like, I kept thinking, if you watch the thing, the Grisks, I thought they were going to be the enemy, and Thrawn is going to have to team up with all these guys. Now I'm not thinking so much anymore. I'm thinking it's an equivalent of the Witches of Dathomir.
Absolutely. Descendants of the Night Sisters. I think that's something that we're going to see, and this whole galaxy is going to be about magic. And I love that we're getting magic, and just go crazy with magic with this. Another harken back to Lord of the Rings as well. So we're getting a lot of that magic. And like you said earlier, Keith, having Ahsoka learn magic alongside the Force as well.
That would be really cool.
Get it done. That would be awesome. I love that theory.
The way that it's been explained, at least from what I've read online, the magic that they use is essentially just their way of manipulating the Force.
Using the Force in their own way.
Right. So anybody who has Force sensitivity probably has the potential to also use this Force witch magic.
Yep. Just learning how to do it.
And with Ahsoka, essentially being the reincarnation of the sister, I feel like her connection to the Force is probably even stronger.
We have not seen the owl yet, though. I was looking.
Not yet, but we also haven't seen Hera's son. Like, where's he been?
No mention at all, too, of Jason Syndulla. Yeah, I'm very curious if they're going to make him look like they did in Rebels. I didn't like that design.
With the big old ears? Yeah, it was.
I was like, what?
That was a choice.
Would you have the tails and everything, or at least a short ones? I don't know. So, yeah, it was a choice for sure.
Half of his head is human, the other half is just like a bulging eye. Kill me.
Yeah, exactly. Kill me. Why, Mom? Why?
Twi'leks and humans don't mix.
No. But I wonder if, like, the reason they're going to, just skip over that altogether, just avoid it by not speaking.
He was. I know it's rude to call kids ugly, but I was an ugly kid. Damn, ugly baby.
So, Attack on Show.
I'm sure he's got a great personality.
Attack on Show wants to know if the new galaxy that they're going to go to is where Rebel Moon takes place.
Meridia. Oh, maybe. Did you guys get to see the trailer for that?
Yep.
I haven't checked it out yet.
Was it good? It's very Zack Snydery.
It is.
Mm-hmm. And it's going to be in 2 parts, apparently. There's going to be the first one and then the next one like 5 months afterwards or something like that. So.
He decided, you know what? This has too much color. Let's dial that down. We're going to really do.
You need that sepia tone to be just ranked up to 50. Every other color down to 0.
Netflix,
so.
Can I change the aspect ratio? No, you can't.
Yeah. No, man.
Can I just get it in like phone ratio now? That's what I want to work in exclusively. So
I would like to actually release them in individual 15-minute segments.
Out of order as well.
Right.
So, you have to piece it together at the end.
Well, we were actually disappointed. We watched the we've immediately jumped into tangent time. We were watching the trailer, and the first thing that the 3 of us said was like, "Where's Hallelujah?"
Oh yeah, that from what was that from the Justice League one?
From Justice League and from Watchmen.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they did do it in Watchmen.
Did it in both.
Yeah, he really does like that, doesn't he?
Yes, he does.
Hallelujah. Oh, that's sad. He missed the mark, I guess, on this one.
Yes, he did.
You know what?
Trying...
I'll give it a shot. Who knows? Maybe it'll turn out to be good. I liked 300, so.
Me too. Yeah, that's one of my favorite Zack Snyder films. So.
Mm-hmm. And I liked most of Watchmen.
Mm-hmm. I do too. And going back and watching it again, there's a lot more that I've picked out of it over the years that I do enjoy. So.
Yeah, I think my biggest problem with his handling of the DC universe was he didn't understand the characters.
No.
You just don't have Superman kill people, and you'd probably be good to go.
Yep. We all know the only person that's allowed to go on a murderous rampage is Chopper.
Right.
Which once again, he's like, "Why don't we just shoot these guys down?" And the Hero's like, "Chopper,
Oh, Chopper,
you kind of kill all these people in Corellia."
You lovable scam.
Once again, this murderous droid is up to his old tricks.
Oh, an Attack on Show.
That they have a sociopath.
That ship would crash the planet.
He's like, yeah, exactly.
I know. Even more collateral damage. That's what
gotta get my death count up even more.
But Attack on Show made a good point. Sucker Punch was good too.
Oh,
once again, anytime he kind of does one of these original IPs, he does a pretty good job. So I'm definitely going to give Rebel Moon a chance.
So Rebel Moon has a decent shot.
Oh yeah.
But all right, getting back into the Ahsoka show, and I don't know if you guys talked about it.
Oh, is that what we're talking about?
My bug when I went all Chopper on the bugs in my house.
Mm-hmm.
But
nice.
I loved how in the fight between Shin and Sabine, Shin was just absolutely toying with her.
Oh yeah, I noticed that because
sure.
She was moving way slower than any actual trained Jedi would. I picked up on that. I'm like, oh, she's just screwing with her because, like, you could tell she was like kind of just, yeah, all right. And because Sabine clearly, she was, as she stated, she was out of practice.
For sure.
And as soon as
I think that's one of the reasons why she survived is because, like, she could have easily taken her out with that, but she was like, oh, I'm just gonna put you out of commission and just move about my day, and get out of here.
Well, she was like, oh, here comes a ship. What? Okay, I'm out of here. You
think the ghost of Qui-Gon was just like, dude, what the hell's that? Oh, I died from that.
Like, I can't believe you guys. You did it with Darth Maul. Now you're doing it with Sabine Wren.
Yeah. Maul gets cut in half and lives.
I have a particular set of skills, and it's dying from one lightsaber.
Why didn't you put me in a Bacta tank? They weren't invented yet. I'm so sorry, Qui-Gon. It was literally like the next week they invented them.
Medicine has come so far. Medicine has come so far. Shut up, Boomer.
Yeah. Come to find out that Obi-Wan had a gripe with Qui-Gon Jinn back in the day, and he was just waiting for his opportunity to get rid of the guy. It's like, oh no, Master, we can't. We don't have.
You're
time
not gonna
for
make it.
Rebecca.
No, I can totally make it. Just patch me up. No, I can't. We're on Naboo.
You
It's
keep talking about this chosen
planet.
one lunacy. It's like, gotta put you out of your misery, bud.
Don't you know force healing? Sorry, I never learned it. Oh yeah, I'm finally rid of that Qui-Gon. Now I have to train Anakin? Oh, come on. What is wrong with me? Let me see if I can heal Qui-Gon now.
I'll show him saying I'm headstrong and still have much to learn. Damn you, Qui-Gon.
But we get into the second episode. And first off, I rather liked that they were like, oh, the shipyards on Corellia, the HK droids and stuff. Well, Morgan had a lot of dealings there. You guys haven't checked on that yet? Right. We're the New Republic.
Just like the New Republic, just dropping the ball left and right, as we saw in Mandalorian Season 3, too. It's just like, who's in charge here? Like, come on, guys, let's get a little bit more oversight with all this stuff. But yeah, I like that they added to the layers of this about like, yeah, the Empire doesn't just become a New Republic overnight. You got to hire all these people that were there, that were sympathetic to the Empire, that were loyal to them, and they're just everywhere. And apparently, yeah, everybody on Corellia was apparently very much into the Empire.
For the Empire.
I know, right? I was like, dang, dude's just committing to
right?
Except for the droid.
You gotta. Yeah, I know.
One of those droids the other day. Hey, dude.
And he's like, shut up. What are you doing?
I feel like the supervisor of the area was like, your average. He voted for the Emperor, but like he's like, yeah, but I don't put flags on my starship, like,
yeah.
I just voted for the dude. And then this guy is jumping up for the Empire. Oh no, it's one of them.
And then he gets arrested too by the end of it. It's like,
right. Yeah. I saw he's looking like,
damn it.
Screwed up. Not my day. I just wanted money.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't even care who's in charge. And he does. Right? He makes that point. He's like, look, your average day-to-day citizen, they don't care who's in charge of the government as long as they're still getting their paycheck. And he's probably not wrong,
Probably
like they don't.
We saw in Andor, it's like everybody was getting searched and seized and taken up and turned into slaves. And it's like, the common people don't care as long as you're not doing that kind of stuff to them.
In the remade version of Return of the Jedi, where they show like all the celebrations and the fireworks and everything, I feel like that probably didn't happen the way that it showed it in the movie. Like I like to envision that most of the Star Wars movies and shows are somebody's retelling of it. And that's why it starts off with a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. That it's like it's somebody telling the story of, and if I remember right, when we were hanging out with those teddy bears on all the other planets, they were so excited. They were pulling down Emperor Palpatine statues and there were fireworks. And like it was probably like in actuality, it's like, oh, we got a new emperor? No. She's not the emperor. Whatever. Am I still getting paid? Yes, but in New Republic credits. Whatever, man. I don't
now I gotta change my currency here. Can I just work in calamari flan?
But the Emperor was a Sith Lord. A what?
A who?
Yeah, what is that?
What is that even? Oh, he was like a Jedi, but an evil version of that. Jedi.
Like all politicians?
Wait, the Jedi. I mean, weren't they just guys who helped out the Republic? Well, they were also space wizards. I don't know what to do with that.
I can't keep up with current affairs. This is just
do I punch in when I go into the fish market tomorrow?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Good deal.
I'm good.
Chain codes now? Great. Cool.
New chain code. Yeah. We were actually talking about that, I think, in our Mandalorian discussion, how there was so much that the New Republic, they were like, yeah, we're just going to keep doing this,
We're just going to keep it. Yeah.
Look, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Yeah, everybody's going to still use chain codes. It's like,
We just changed the name Empire to New Republic and
Right.
thought we would get away with it just fine. Let's dismantle all of our military. No worries.
Such a dumb move.
No threats out there. Yeah.
So going back to what you were talking about with the timeline with where this takes place.
Yes.
If it did take place earlier and this had happened, I feel like when they had busted all these people on Corellia, don't you think that would have raised some red flags, no matter what point in time it took place? Wouldn't it have raised some red flags and be like, oh, hey, maybe we should kind of look at the people that we are reintegrating into the New Republic?
Yeah. Yeah. Good point. Yeah.
Or maybe they were just like, I'm sure everything else is fine.
I mean, judging from what we've seen so far from the New Republic, I wouldn't put it past them. It's like Mon Calamari, like, get in there and help us out a little bit. I don't know.
Hey, what are your feelings towards the Empire? Long live the Empire! Dude can really.
Cool. You want a job?
Fine. Yeah. Let's just let him do it. Just say, hey, the Empire's still in charge, dude. Yes. All right.
Yeah, I knew it.
But speaking of in charge, I don't know if either one of you played this game, but Morgan Elsbeth's ship was called the Eye of Sion.
Sion, yeah.
And Darth
the one that
Sion,
she was building, right?
Yeah, Darth Sion was from Knights of the Old Republic 2, Sith Lords.
Heard about this.
And now this hints back to a rumor that popped up during the filming of Ahsoka that Thrawn was going to come back with like zombie stormtroopers.
Yeah,
I remember that.
Big rumor back in the day.
One of our rumor mill rundowns.
Yep, and he was the Lord of Pain. He was like a zombie Sith. He was basically killed in the Great Sith War, but he didn't die. He ended up basically surviving by taking all that pain and became basically immortal. So I was like, when she called it that, I'm like, there might be some substance to these zombie rumors.
Absolutely, Keith. I think you might be on the money with that. And I think a lot of the reason why those zombie stormtroopers are there, because they probably died in the final battle on Lothal and when they were transported over there. I mean, we got Night Sisters that have actually raised people from the dead as well in Clone Wars as well. So there's precedence for that to actually happen. And yeah, there's got to be a connection there for sure.
And that made me start thinking too, because, you know, we talked earlier about, you know, Baylan saying power such as you've never dreamed. And maybe he knows something about Darth Sion or has heard rumors and knows about this immortality. And that's his main angle for all of this. He could care less about Thrawn. He could care less about Morgan Elsbeth. He wants that immortality power because who honestly wouldn't want that?
Yeah, that is definitely a dark side trait. That is pure old Sith Lord energy right there. You know, wanting to live forever for yourself and everything. So that's the route he's going. Come on, dude. Be quiet. All right.
There it goes.
Yeah. Gotta put down the kid. Sorry about that.
While we're talking about rumors, I do want to potentially squash one that I keep seeing going around ever since the premiere of these episodes. And that is dealing with the identity of the Inquisitor, which, I admit, not your status quo. Normally, we're 100% correct. We thought that Inquisitor was showing up in a flashback. We did not think that this was present day, but a lot of the rumors that are floating about are saying, what if it's Ezra? What if that's
I know.
Right there?
Well, it can't be Ezra because he was pulled with the Purgles with Thrawn. So there's no way that's Ezra.
Also, don't you think somebody would sense him?
Yes.
You would think. Just to play devil's advocate on it, though, if I was to look at it that way, and I did have that thought when I was watching it, but I was like, please, God, don't make that Ezra. But at the same time, I was like, man, you saw how easily in Tales of the Jedi how Ahsoka took down the Inquisitor without a lightsaber. It's like, it was like that. Beautifully done, by the way. But for this one, she actually struggled quite a bit with this character. I was like, who?
That's true.
And they're keeping this character, Morok, is it?
Morok, yeah.
Morok. Old Morok there. He didn't speak. He's just there with them. So he's definitely an important character of some sort. So there's some mystery there. And I think we're supposed to draw this idea that, hey, this is going to be somebody, but I really hope it's not Ezra.
I don't think it's anybody.
Here's my boring theory. Yeah, okay. I'm going to build on that. Here's my boring theory. Morok, it's actually, people are mispronouncing him. His name is Mark.
Yeah, I can see that.
He's literally just an out-of-work inquisitor, and he's just like, I really need a job. And these two dark Jedi, not quite Sith, or, come along. They're like, hey, man, like, you're strong with the Force. You've got a really weird lightsaber.
Throw you a buck.
You keep helicoptering around with. Maybe don't do that in public. But
please don't.
I hope they don't do that in live action. But they're probably like,
don't.
Look, man, we take jobs for money, and you look like you're getting ready to go sit on the streets and hold out your helmet and collect money like a clone trooper. Why don't you just come hang out with us, do jobs with us? And he's probably like, yeah, what else am I going to do?
See,
the Empire
that leads into something I was thinking about too.
Okay.
Now we get they're calling it Master and Apprentice in the first episode, but we know that Merrick is working with him too. What if there's other Force sensitives working for Baylan? He's not a Sith. He's not going to be rule of two.
No.
He could gladly, if this is a former Inquisitor that just made it, pass because maybe he was strong in the Force or whatever, and he got recruited by Baylan, there could be others out there working for him. So we could see others that
he could have his own dark Jedi guild.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And I've heard that rumor too that this might be the start of the Knights of Ren as well.
I did hear that rumor. I don't know, but possibly.
Yeah.
Well,
not really interested in that. Yeah.
We don't really know where they came from, though, do we?
Yeah. The only thing that was interesting about the Knights of Ren, they've been around for a while. They were around during the original trilogy, doing things in the comics. But the one thing, it was Ren was a guy, and they were all about you have to be touched by the shadow. And these guys don't seem like that at all. So I think they're just their own little. He's like, let's get as powerful as we can. I ain't joining no, Jedi orders because I'm going to take care of myself and what's mine.
Yeah.
So he's willing to use the dark side, but he's not necessarily like a dark side user. He uses what he needs, light, dark, whatever it takes.
He's interested in power. He reminds me a bit of like, I feel like he's similar in a way to Count Dooku. He just didn't go full Sith.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I got a lot of the Dooku vibes off of Baylan on this. So I was like, yeah, I mean, they're drawing from the best of all the villains out there in Star Wars. Like I said, this is one of the best ones I've seen in a long time.
I assume this had to have been intentional, but when they zoomed in on Baylan's face, you saw that he had normal eyes. I have to feel like that was
not yellow,
intentional. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. He's definitely not full dark side.
He has not been corrupted by the dark side at all. He uses it when he needs to, but it's not what he's about.
And this is exactly like what we're talking about. Like I've messaged you guys before, and we've talked about this, where it's like we want more exploration in the middle. It's like we wanted to find more gray Jedi and things, and see them go towards that. And I think
that would be ideal.
This is one of those things. And do you guys think that Baylan's going to survive this series or not?
No,
I don't think so either.
Yeah, only because the actor passed away, obviously,
Yeah, it would be really tough too if he did, and like you can't go anywhere with that character.
Don't do a Leia. Don't do a Princess Leia.
Oh, please don't. Yeah, definitely don't.
He deserves better than that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That was perfect. Both of you at the same time. Now, the other thing that I noticed, and I don't know if you two picked up on this, but the Inquisitor's lightsaber. The reason why I think there's still something a little off about him is it reminded me a little bit of Kylo Ren's lightsaber. It was what's the word I'm thinking of? Staticky. It was
crackly.
Yeah. His lightsaber was a bit crackly. It was unstable. That's the word I'm thinking of. He had an unstable lightsaber. And that tells me that he wasn't fully connected to the dark side either.
I could go back and watch.
Yeah, I might have to watch it a third time. But,
because it didn't it didn't look like Vader's,
Yeah.
And he may have just grabbed it off a dead Inquisitor. Because it's obvious it looks like an Inquisitor blade. He may not have bled it himself. So you may be right. He may not be able to harness it quite yet.
I didn't even think of that. Yeah, that's possible too.
Yeah.
But I did love when he jumped on the ship with Shin, and his lightsaber's coming back, and Ahsoka just went like,
just
flew past
it's like old hat for her.
Fought enough of these guys, like she knows.
Yeah, right.
These moves.
Like whatever.
He's like, hey, my lightsaber's coming back. Oh my god, this is gonna be so good. She's just like,
it's flying.
Suck it. He's like, oh.
It was so cool. It was really wizard.
It's like, oh man, lost that opportunity there.
And then, one of the other things that happened in this show that really stood out to me was when Morgan was saying, Thrawn calls to me over time and space.
Mm-hmm.
Which definitely hints at the world between worlds. But Thrawn could not get there by himself, but Ezra can.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought what would be more interesting than it just being something as simple as Ezra helping Thrawn because he wants to, they might be working together because he wants to get back to his galaxy also. And he's willing to work with Thrawn. But what if it's somebody, it's not Thrawn reaching out, but it's someone using Thrawn's voice to call to her because you got to think, once they may not know the path.
Done that before.
Yeah. They may not know the path to get to the Star Wars galaxy. But once she gets there and opens it up, they'll be able to invade this galaxy. Maybe it is the Grisk who are like, we're going to go take over another galaxy or something, some Dathomir witch type group who is, has already totally taken that galaxy under their rule and wants another. So I don't know for sure that it's Thrawn calling to her. Now he's going to show up. We know that he is. But she may get to there and he's like, oh, I can't believe you came here. You just opened up our universe to these guys.
How funny would it be if while Thrawn is hanging out in this other galaxy, like I can't imagine he would just be chilling. Like what if he was like, doing the same thing that he did with our regular Star Wars galaxy when he's like, I'll infiltrate the military and I'll learn all about them and I'll rise in the ranks and I'll prepare them for the chick. What is it?
Chris.
Chick?
The Chiss ascendancy.
Chiss. Right? Yeah, the Chiss invasion of this galaxy too. And it's like I could kind of see him doing that and like Ezra just being like, all right, just be home by curfew, I guess.
Yeah, wouldn't it be a trip that if like everybody's worried about Thrawn coming back, they're like, this is going to be a big war. And what if he comes back and he's like, no, I'm trying to save you guys from this threat.
Right.
And he's like not the I mean, and if you go off of the books, that was his motive the whole time. He was trying to be a part of a group. That's why he joined the Empire, was to help out the Chiss from fighting against the Grisk and everything, and that threat that was coming.
Yep.
And so, what if this is the same situation too? He's like, dude, don't come here, don't do this. I've been trying to keep you guys safe all this time, and they open this up, and then we have this whole new threat that we didn't even think was going to happen.
I've been just studying their artwork.
Yeah.
Ezra could have brought us back with the Purgles anytime. Why are you here? You've you've destroyed our
been
galaxy.
riding Purgles this whole time. Yeah.
We started a Purgle riding business. We're rich.
Yeah, we're good. Like,
Ezra settled down. He's got a wife and a couple of kids.
I know, right?
And he works so hard because he wants to be away from his whiny kids. They're just like me. Why? Why did I?
Ezra, Sabine's like all sad. Ezra's like, did you not see my hologram where I said you're like a sister to me?
Sister to me? I know. I was a little like, she's like a sister to you, bud. Like, I remember Rebels, and you were pretty into Sabine Wren.
Oh, hold on. A sister like episode 5 or a sister like episode 6?
We're like Kentucky sister? I don't know.
Game of Thrones sister?
Like, what do you say? Yes. It's like, what are you talking about here, bud?
Look, we don't kink shame. We just kink ask why.
That's right. That's right. And honestly, he may have just been saying it because he didn't think, he was much more into Sabine than Sabine was into him.
Oh, for sure.
So he may have just, oh, yeah, you're like a sister to me. Please be my friend.
Sabine's like, joke's on you. I'm into that stuff.
Yep. It's not stopping her from looking for him. So.
Right.
But I thought, like, at the end of that episode, too, with Sabine cutting her hair and doing that little traditional thing that was very reminiscent of Rebels, too, when Kanan cut his hair before he died and everything. And his last little battle there to get Hera back. I thought that was beautifully done. And how she donned her Mandalorian armor again.
Was that a symbolism thing, or did she do it so her helmet would fit?
I mean, the practical reason was yes, so her helmet could fit, but it was definitely an homage to Kanan and what came before, which is beautifully done. I thought they did a great job with that.
Mm-hmm. I like that Ahsoka points at you like, hey, I like the hair.
Nice hair.
Now,
for me.
I read online that that scene that they showed us as Ahsoka went to go pick her up, that is supposed to be the same scene from
the end of Rebels.
Yeah. Only Ahsoka just isn't holding the staff this time.
But she's not in white as well. I think maybe they're going to do like a mirroring scene. So we got this at the end of this episode. And maybe at the end, we get a similar one of them going off on some other escapade. Maybe Ahsoka goes to this new galaxy and Sabine Wren actually stays back. And the
staff is how she uses her magic.
Yes. Yeah, she's magical wizard now. She's Gandalf. Like I said, I think they're baking this into the show. It's really cool. So, yeah, it might be. So, old
and honestly, you know, think about it. You know, a lot of people have theorized that Ezra may have turned to the dark side while he's been gone. But I think learning more and more about the galaxy they're at, he's going to be a lot like we think Ahsoka might be at the end of this series. That he might be. Not only Jedi, but also learn this magic, you know, this witch-type magic. So he's going to come back more powerful than they can imagine to start. Or when they meet him, he's going to be like, I've grown. Because guess what? There's people to train me here, too, and I've learned.
Yeah.
And he may be beyond what they understand at this point.
Now, do you think Filoni's going to jokingly have somebody utter the line, somehow Thrawn returned?
Oh
God, I hope not.
Yeah, no, thank you. We'll put that one to the side. But as far as like Ezra Bridger goes, or Ezra Miller, I think you guys are.
Oh Jesus!
Comparing him, maybe he goes off of the deep end as well. Maybe he becomes like that Jor Cybaoth character, where he's just nuts by the end, and it's just a big tragedy that like he went off in this direction because. Whenever Ezra didn't have a master, he dived deep into the dark side. So if he's going off and playing with magic, he could just very well go off the deep end and be this new big bad, you know, alongside Thrawn or something. Or against Thrawn. Maybe Thrawn's the good guy and Ezra's the bad guy.
That would be an interesting twist.
And it could be when they got over to that galaxy, they may have been fighting for their lives. They may be fighting for their lives every second over there. And if he has to delve into the dark side to save them, you know, it may be Ezra's fall from grace where I didn't want to do this, but we would be dead if I didn't tap into the dark side. If I didn't start force choking these fools and shooting lightning everywhere.
I had to force choke left and right just to get through the day. But, man, if they're fighting for their lives, too,
he didn't have to choke them. He just really liked it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's just really into that stuff.
Well, just, you know, that whole scene with Thrawn and from the trailer, we don't know when that takes place.
That's true.
That might be a nice little trailer trick. Like there's going to be a flashback where he's talking about before him and Ezra left. And that's why his uniform is all super pristine.
Oh, crisp and
clean.
Get back.
Yes, they may get back and it's like, holy cow, we barely made it out alive. And now we've let these whatevers into our galaxy. We're going to be in for the fight of our lives. We better get Din Djarin. We better get Boba Fett. We better get.
We're getting the team together.
Yeah.
Get Bo-Katan in there too, you know.
Ezra, are you in? I'm a phantom of a shadow of a ghost, and I'm in your kids. Okay, no.
This guy. Sit down.
We're
Don't
good.
Speak.
Shin, you want to join us? Oh, wow. Tall guy, 0403 cashing in absolutely.
Oh, nice.
Absolutely.
And Attack on Show said, honestly, for one swoop of the knife, Sabine did an amazing job with laying her hair.
Yeah.
Well, there was,
Blade, but...
a little bit off camera that she did to, kind of finish it up.
I did question that too. I was like, wow, that was pretty quick. And then she grabs her helmet
hours later.
Yeah.
I know. There had to be some trimming because that was a lot shorter by the end of that. You cut in the back, it's still going to be pretty long.
She's got like a bunch of bandages on the back of her neck from it. And she's like,
it's all bleeding down her back and everything. She's like, don't look back there. Fine.
They didn't show, but she cut it. Then she was like, oh, this looks terrible. How does this look? And then she went to a salon and they did it all up nice for her.
Like, Hoo-yong,
guys,
how's this looking?
Ahsoka's coming back. She's going to be here in like 10 minutes. Can someone fix my hair?
It's a deleted scene that they didn't keep it.
Tall guy. Sabine was amazing overall. Yes, she was.
She was. Oh, that actress did such a phenomenal job with her. Yeah, definitely gave that character the essence of Sabine, exactly what you wanted from that. So,
one for one.
Mary Elizabeth, I almost called her Weinstein. Oh,
Winstead.
Yeah, Winstead. She was great as Hera too, and like the banter between her and Chop when they were flying.
Oh, I love that.
Thing. Have you looked under the battery? And don't miss this time. And he just...
I was like, I haven't been messing with your stuff. Do you guys know who voices Chopper? Really cool.
Is it
D. Bradley
David
Baker?
D. Bradley?
No.
Who?
Somebody else.
Is it John Favreau?
Another Dave. Is Dave Filoni.
Dave Filoni? Really?
Chopper. Yeah, and they revealed that after the finale of Rebels that he was the one voicing Chopper the entire time. And
I did not know that.
Huh. So yeah, that's Dave Filoni right there. He's Chopper.
That is fantastic.
That is.
Right? Yeah. Gotta give it to this guy too. And I just, if I could ask George Lucas one question, I would ask him like, what episode of Last Airbender were you watching that made you think that you had to have this guy? Like, he must have connected something, be like, this is my guy. I've got to get him, because that's what happened. Is they called him up. Dave Filoni thought it was a joke that he was gonna get to work with George Lucas in Star Wars. He's like, no, it's not gonna happen. But
Mark,
for whatever reason, yeah, exactly. But for whatever reason, he saw something in this guy, and we as fans are getting to see this now. This guy is doing us right as a fan base. He is definitely the right successor to George Lucas, and my God, this show has proven that. And and we didn't talk about this yet, but the cinematic quality of these two episodes is by far more so than we've seen in any of the other shows. Just, it is hitting the mark on all this stuff. And I got to say, I probably enjoyed Chapter 16 of The Mandalorian probably the most out of all of the shows. That's when Luke Skywalker shows up. I mean, you can't really beat that. But this show, I'm going to say it now, and I said it on my Facebook page, I think we're witnessing one of the best Star Wars series to date right now with Ahsoka. And it's all because of Dave Filoni.
It definitely has that possibility because, like we talked about earlier, he's building out some lore and some mysteries we don't know. I mean, Corellia looked beautiful. Lothal looked incredible. They spent the time to make these. They're not doing it like Andor. Andor was great because they were doing these wide open shots, filming, on location. It looked great. But this, I mean, they did a great job of building out these, plans.
Now, is this using the volume or?
This is using the volume. They did.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think they definitely learned a lot from Andor as well, because I saw a lot, like, you have some tones of Andor in there, but it's a lot lighter, and it's a lot more accessible to kids too, and it's supposed to be fun, and that's what Star Wars is all about. I loved Andor, but that is not that's not for everybody. It's not everybody's cup of tea, even though I loved it. It's the closest thing we're going to get to a Christopher Nolan Star Wars thing, at least in my opinion. That's what we're getting. So, but for this show, like, it took the best elements of all that stuff and just elevated all of it, which Oh man, hats off Dave Filoni and the crew and everybody else for doing a phenomenal job.
And that's the thing. Dave Filoni wrote these characters. He built them up. He knows them better than anybody else.
Them.
And you know, Dave made a great point in the chat. He said Hera did not flinch when she was being shot at, when she was chasing. No. She is such a tremendous pilot.
She's been through it.
She's like, hey, get it, let's get it. They opened fire. She didn't care. She was weaving in and out, and he really. I think it's very difficult to take characters from animation and bring them into live action.
Yeah.
And this was seamless.
Yeah.
Not for one
almost
minute.
Almost an impossible task too. Yeah. Of getting those characters into live action and making you accept it in reality, which they did. They did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The writing had a lot to do with it, and the acting was a huge part of it, and it just all mingled. I was so excited that it was like a primetime show last night. 9 o'clock. I was like,
yeah,
Daddy's going downstairs. I got to watch a show. Is anyone coming down with me? What are you watching? Ahsoka. Well, what's Ahsoka? She's a Jedi. I might come down later. I'm like, okay.
All right. Well, I'm gonna start it. So.
Yeah. It was great. I wasn't like I'm setting my alarm for 4:30 so I can get up and watch it before work and no one. And the funniest thing, two YouTubers that I really like, Heavy Spoilers and Star Wars Meg, they do a great job, and they're both in the UK. So when it drops at 3 o'clock in the morning Eastern time, they're getting it at 8 a.m. their time. So they're not, and they were like, "Oh my God, this is now going to be like 2 a.m. for us." And I wanted to, it's like, oh, wah. We've been doing it for how many years?
We've been dealing with that.
Yeah.
Welcome to our struggle over here. I've always been fortunate because I work night shift, so I've been able to watch it on my breaks. But at the same time, I loved being able to watch it though at home with my nice setup and getting to watch it uninterrupted too. So I don't have to. It's 30 minutes. Okay, I've got to get back to this about 3 hours from now. And the anticipation alone was just like, So I love that they changed this to Tuesday nights. And for me, it's 6 p.m. So that's perfect.
It feels like more of an event that way, too. It's not like, it's dropping sometime in the morning. It's like, it feels almost like network TV. This is like, your Game of Thrones. It's coming on at 9 p.m. And we're going to sit down, we're going to watch it. And, it feels like it gives it more gravitas.
Totally,
and I hope they stick with this with all of the Star Wars and Marvel shows going forward.
Me too.
Because I thought it was a great touch. And Dave says, I hope Zeb shows up. And Dave, you're
Zeb Aurelius.
We know he's working, with the New Republic.
Mm-hmm.
So we may see where the New Republic has to get involved more so than they have with just General Syndulla. Maybe he's watching Jason.
Oh yeah, he's the one watching.
That's where he is. Well, we saw in the trailer that that Hera does contact the New Republic Senate at some point, probably letting them know, hey, I need some backup.
You want to do something? Anything?
And they almost give the impression in the trailer they're kind of like hand wavy, like it's probably nothing.
So this Grand Admiral is coming back from another galaxy.
And
General Syndulla, we have rules against drinking on the job.
You say this is some magical galaxy outside of this one that only space whales can go to?
Right.
Okay. Sounds great.
Space whales. Right. Next, you're going to tell me that there's a space Boston.
Yeah, Mags. He's from space.
He's
Boston.
from there.
Migs.
Migs. Yeah.
I'm not a stormtrooper.
I'm not a stormtrooper.
Oh, he's got to show up for the Filoni movie too. I never even think of him. I was trying to piece together everyone that should be there.
Please bring him back. Yeah.
I was really hoping he'd show up in season
I wouldn't mind a
Mandalorian.
couple of necessary cameos. Don't just shove them in there because you want it's a thing that you remember. Hopefully it serves a purpose, whatever. Which if it's Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau, it will, I'm sure.
It will, man. And after seeing these last 2 episodes too, I could see why they're giving him his own film too. Oh my god.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Well, that was the rumor going around. They said the reason Filoni, as soon as it was announced at Star Wars Celebration, a lot of stories came out saying that the reason he got it is because the execs saw Ahsoka and were blown away by it. Which one, I was like, movie executives know nothing. So I was getting worried about how this was going to be. But man, then you see it and you're like, holy cow. Okay, thank God. I'm glad they made the right decision here.
I totally did. So I'm like, we're in the right hands. Finally excited about Star Wars again.
Yeah.
Like I was getting some fatigue there, guys. I'm not gonna lie. I was getting a little fatigued with some of the stuff they were getting lately. And this definitely did re-energize me.
It sometimes, your interests, has these ebbs and flows to it. Yeah. And I think, it was like after the Book of Boba Fett, I was kind of like, well, maybe. And then Andor came about, and I was like, okay, that was fantastic.
Right.
But I love the fact that they didn't, because they were probably like, Andor was very successful. We should be more like Andor. But Dave Filoni, the way he writes is absolute Star Wars. Like you watch his writing and the way things are coming together. Like it was so great. In the one scene that I was like, God, I love the way he handles this. When Ahsoka and Hera were like, well, I guess we're off to Corellia. And then you see Morgan and Baylan and Shin, and he's like, go help Merrick with his job on Corellia. So it's like setting up, you're like, oh yeah, they're about to have a
showdown time.
They're about to have a Star Wars. Let's get it on.
Right.
How's it going, Caleb? Welcome to the chat. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Yeah, you've got Caleb. We've got him now.
You've got Caleb.
What are we supposed to do with him, though?
We haven't figured it out yet. It's like one of these days.
Yeah.
He's very knowledgeable, though.
Awesome. Yeah, he had some good theories on the Theory Palooza. I was listening to that one.
Yeah.
So good job, Caleb.
And I'm really looking forward to the next episode too, because we know we're off to the planet Cedos.
It can't come
in
soon.
the Denab system. And it was great too. The whole like Baylan, when it was the same scene where he was like, it'd be a shame to have to kill her. She's one of the last Jedis in the galaxy or whatever. And he's like, it's cloudy, I can't see, but her, something is vivid. She's coming. And I was just like, oh, that's the way you set up that scene for next week.
And this is what I love the most too. I don't think we're gonna get any filler with this show, which I'm looking forward to. And the story is driving the series, not the other way around. The series isn't driving the story, which is what we've seen with some of the last couple of series. Mandalorian season 3, as well as Book of Boba Fett. So it's really cool that we're getting to see this. And I think next week's episode is supposed to be really short, right?
They said it's like 30. It's like 30 minutes with credits, I think.
With credits, yeah. So it's going to be really fast. But at the same time, Dave Filoni kind of mentioned, like, you know what? I'm making these episodes, and I'm making them as
however long they need to be.
Exactly. So you're getting exactly what you need out of it, and nothing more. And I'm like, as long as the story is dictating what we're seeing on the screen, I don't care how long it is. Just make it as enjoyable as possible.
We had a similar conversation with the first season of The Mandalorian. When we saw the fluctuating timestamps, we're like, well, that's a little odd. Like, there's no standard, but as long as they are telling the story. Oh no.
Oh no.
I hope you've got.
Sabine Wren, is that you?
I hope you've got the proper space health care.
I'm gonna get stabbed in the gut, as per usual now.
Do you got a Bacta patch to put over your wound?
Yeah.
No, he just has the little spray canister.
I'm
healing already.
Spray Bacta.
And the Force Ghost of Qui-Gon Jinn is still crying.
No!
Oh my God! Everybody's surviving these things now.
Excuse me. Sorry. Got all choked up.
It's okay, Doug.
Yeah, so shorter episode next week on Tuesday. But I think that this is, definitely going to be that climactic scene that we're going to see right there, with Baylan and Ahsoka and everybody coming to a head. So we might get a lot of action, a lot of lightsaber fights already with this show. So I'm looking forward to it. I think that they're doing a good job with it.
I will say that is one of my minor nitpicks is I felt like the lightsaber choreography could have been a bit better. I understood what they were going for between Sabine and Shin. Like I understood why that was a little more slow paced. Like you pointed out,
that made
really messing with her. But it seemed like some of the fights with Ahsoka were also a little more slow paced, and I don't know if it's difficult for her to move around in the costume.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. With the Montrells and everything that. Yeah, it might be a little bit difficult for them to choreograph all of these action scenes as well. But I still don't understand why they don't bring like somebody like Nick Gillard back on board to help with the fight scenes and everything. Somebody who has knowledge into what the lightsaber fights have progressed into over the years in Star Wars. Just not sure.
Well, that's something that I suppose I do want to look up. I didn't think about doing this earlier. I wonder if they do have any stunt doubles that are specifically there to do the lightsaber fights, and if so, maybe they can, sort of like what they did with oh my gosh, in episode 2, where they had stunt doubles for Anakin and Count Dooku. Yeah, even though Count Dooku is the guy who played him, right? Even though he's like, well, yeah, I can sword fight, but whatever. I guess let the young guys do it.
See, I was thinking too that. With the Ahsoka fights, because she was fighting droids, HK droids. I don't think she was giving it her all. Like next week, if she is having a duel with Baylan, I think that'll definitely really show us where that choreography is. Because I thought the choreography was fairly well.
So you've got Caleb said, I heard Rosario did all her own stunts. All right.
Whoa. Wow. Okay. She did. Check that out. That is impressive, though.
Yeah, she was even using. I love that she put her. When she was fighting Marok on Corellia, she like put her lightsaber through the one and was using him as like a shield.
Using him, that was cool. Yep.
And he had to use his power to take it out. And I honestly, smart. While they weren't, Revenge of the Sith, Anakin versus Obi-Wan, they were still, good. Once again, they weren't the best we've ever seen, but I still thought it was more good than anything bad with any of the saber fights. But we'll see next week.
It's a minor nitpick.
If her and Baylan are going at it, and it's like...
Yeah, you can't give your best lightsaber fight in the first 2 episodes, so they're definitely going to probably have something more spectacular.
If it's episode 4, Vader versus Obi-Wan, I'm going to be like, no, don't do that.
No. And if you look at sword fighting in House Samurai... sorry.
He watched the first episode, but got a phone call with some bad news. We're sorry to hear that. I hope everything's good. Definitely want to hear what you think of the second episode too, but I hope everything is good after that bad news, because that's never good. Hope everything's all right, man. And who knows? There was a rumor too that with the World Between Worlds, we were going to almost see a what if on Mustafar, with Ahsoka taking on Anakin, which I don't want that. I don't want to see that. If they try to top the Anakin and Obi-Wan fight on Mustafar, it's going to fail tremendously.
I feel like that would be so out of place for what they're setting up in the story from what we've seen in these first 2 episodes too. So yeah, I've heard that rumor as well. And I know we will get flashbacks, and they actually did hire a young actress who was in House of Dragons, actually. She was Lady Lena, I think, or something like that. That was a little girl that played that. Is going to be the young Ahsoka. So I would really like to see some flashbacks, but I wouldn't want to see a retelling or a what if with Ahsoka battling on.
No, me
neither. I really had my fingers crossed, and I was hoping that we would have Ashley Eckstein come back to do some flashbacks.
I know.
Maybe she'll do the voice.
You know, and that's the one thing, like, it's a little tarnish for me on this series is that she's not at least getting some sort of role in this. I mean, Rosario Dawson, I really enjoy her take, and yeah, I think Ashley Eckstein did a phenomenal job with Ahsoka. She is Ahsoka to me through and through. I came up with her, and that's the Ahsoka I know, and I love her voice, and I wish she would at least have some sort of cameo or some sort of part in this. She deserved that, and I don't know why they didn't give that to her.
And they may. She was on set, and they said, "Oh, she's just visiting. She wanted, to meet Rosario because she's playing the same character." But I got a feeling Filoni's the type of guy who'd be like, "We need to get you in here and do something." So. She'll have a cameo, or she'll be something in this series. It's not going to be a big part, maybe, but it could be something that leads to her showing up in future projects, which I hope they do, because that would be great. So. Oh, very sorry to hear that you've got Caleb. That is, terrible news, and I don't even know, what you're going through. That's tough. So, understandably,
what's going on?
His stepsister passed away.
Oh, jeez. Oh, I'm sorry, man.
And yeah, as much as you love Star Wars, I mean, I've lost people close to me. You don't feel like watching television or anything else at those times.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just I hope everything's okay. I hope your family's good, and it's definitely sending positive thoughts and energy your way, young man. But what were we talking about before that? Now, lost my train of thought.
We were talking about Ashley being on set. Yeah.
So it would be nice to see just any little thing, hear that voice and then have her walk on the screen.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Because Dave Filoni's the type of guy who he wants everyone to be happy. He's just a good dude. He wants, the best for Star Wars fans, the best for his actors, all that.
And, I've heard a little bit of backlash, too, from people saying that this is woke and whatnot. And because they're like, there's no male protagonist in this and whatnot. And it's just...
The show is called Ahsoka. Come on, guys.
I know, it's Ahsoka. It's like, are you kidding me? It's like, this is such a great show. These are great characters. It doesn't matter what your sex is. Come on, people.
Right.
And I could say, I was thinking about this afterwards, too, when I was ruminating on what I thought about this. And I was like, this is really what The Force Awakens should have been. This story is a perfect replacement for that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because you have the strong female lead character that everybody cares about and everything else. And you have these stakes, and we also have a map as well leading to a character that's off screen.
We've got our fetch quest.
They got the same MacGuffin, so it's all good.
It's slightly less dumb.
Yeah, and you have this character that's a Sith, but not quite a Sith, character that's coming against you that has some history as well. So yeah, all those elements are in there, but they're just done so much better. And I'm just like, yeah, this is like what The Force Awakens should have been like. So
I will say some of the Kylo Ren scenes are what made me enjoy The Force Awakens. It definitely had its issues, but the two that stand out, the two scenes that always stand out to me that I always think about whenever I think of The Force Awakens is the scene in the beginning where Kylo Ren stops the blaster bolt in midair.
Yeah, that
and I had never seen that done in Star Wars before, and I was like, whoa,
something new and novel.
That's pretty badass. That's cool. I'm glad that they're like right out the gate showing us something different. And then the second scene where like it got me, where he looks, teary-eyed at Han, and he goes, I know what I have to do, but I don't know if I have the strength to do it. And the first time you see that and you're thinking, oh, he's gonna turn himself over, he's gonna go with Han. And then when it's like, oh, that's what he meant. Okay. That's what he didn't think he had the strength to do it. And then as his father falls to his death, thanks, Father.
And Dave makes a good point in the chat. All of these characters are likable.
Oh yeah.
And we talked about it. Even though there's some animosity between Sabine and Ahsoka, it's not one is bad and one is good.
There's plenty of gray area.
And even Baylan is likable. And like we talked about earlier, his presence is so
Yes.
overwhelming.
Oh
and
my
it's
gosh,
just perfect
yes.
for what his character is. He's this, powerful former Jedi who, for the past 30 years or whatever it has been surviving. So he knows some tricks.
Oh yeah.
And that's just fun to watch. That's if this would have been episode 7 as opposed to A New Hope 2 almost.
Yeah, right.
I think
Yeah.
they would have nailed it.
Yeah. They would have nailed it. And it simultaneously gave us the homages from the original trilogy, as well as all this connective tissue, but gave us something new and something to explore that we haven't explored. That's the beauty of them going off into a new galaxy too, is they can play around in that and do whatever they want, which is also exciting because it's like anything can happen. This isn't going to affect whatever happened afterwards with the sequel trilogy. So we're going to get some pretty cool stories coming up.
Yeah. Where was Ahsoka and all these people during the sequel trilogy? Oh, they were in Road to Perdition or Road to Perdition, Road to Peoria. What is it?
Iridia.
Yeah, pretty.
Iridia.
One thing that I picked up on Baylan's character is he's very in control. He's very he doesn't he's not super emotional. I assume it comes a lot from his Jedi training. He's constantly got his emotions in check. What I think would be an interesting twist, and I don't know if they'll do this, but I kind of would like to see it, is if somebody sees the color of their lightsabers and has like a passing familiarity with the Sith and Jedi, refers to him and Shin as Sith, and it pushes him over the edge. And he's like, I am not a Sith. Don't you call me a Sith.
Yeah.
And he kind of loses his cool for and that's like the only thing that sets him off.
Yeah, and same thing with Ahsoka too. Like those two kind of mirrored each other. Baylan and Ahsoka. He was very calm and collected the entire.
And I like how many times she pointed out, "Well, I didn't do things the Jedi way."
Yeah. Exactly. So
when she was
the mind probe is what she did to Morgan as well. Which is not a thing the Jedi would do. That's a Sith ability as well. So yeah, she's playing around in the play box.
How did you get that information from her? Oh. I didn't do it the Jedi way.
Not worry about that. Yeah. Let's moving on.
Oh, here you've got Caleb. I've always had the theory that Han pressed the ignition button on Kylo's lightsaber. Han knew he wasn't getting out of that situation alive, so he made an active choice in his son's development. Han knew that Kylo killing him would absolutely destroy him and eventually bring him back to the light.
I can see Harrison Ford doing that. He's like, I've been waiting to kill my character for 2 decades now. I get it done.
That's definitely not a bad theory.
Yeah, I hadn't thought of that.
Yeah.
And it would definitely be in the same, it would be what Harrison Ford would have wanted. He's been begging to be killed off since episode 4. George, just let me die already, man. Come on.
Do you know how many Han figures we sell? We sell more Han figures than anybody else.
George, I do not care. I don't care.
Yeah.
Kill me. I will turn the lightsaber on myself.
In every scene he does, he's like laying dead. Harrison, get up. I'm dead.
Come on, George.
You don't die in this scene.
Film me.
Yeah, Return of the Jedi did come out in 83, which is 40 years ago?
Wow.
Yeah, just about, because I'm almost 40. So
thanks for making us feel old, Dave. You did a great job. We appreciate
it.
40 years since he wanted his character to perish.
It always reminds me of the Weird Al lyric. The long-term contract we had to sign. We'll be making these movies till the end of time. Harrison's like, oh, please, anything to get out of it.
Right.
And they kill me and then they bring me back for the last part. It doesn't even make any sense. George. Not George. JJ. What are you doing?
Wait, how much are you going to pay me? Okay, I'll come for this last.
Okay, I'll do it.
I'm good.
And now, speaking of Harrison Ford, I have heard some rumors floating about. I don't know how accurate they are. I have heard some rumors that Disney is looking to make another Indiana Jones. Now, whether that involves Harrison or not, I don't know.
You know what I wanted? I wanted Short Round in the last Indiana Jones and him taking over the role.
That would have been great.
The archaeologist. So if they're going to bring him, if they're going to bring Short Round to become the new Indiana Jones sort of character, I'm all for it. But if it's not that, no thanks.
We don't need to see any more 80-some-year-old archaeologists.
No.
Trying to do the Indiana Jones stuff.
Please just let him take his nap and exactly. Retire.
And he could even like show up to mentor.
He can appraise like an artifact
stuff.
and give us like, oh well, you know where this comes from, and I punched a Nazi in the face to get this one time.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. I got a page from my dad's diary. Here's something that'll help you.
Here you go.
This is what I was missing. Perfect.
All right, I'm leaving now. Not going to be in this movie.
And yes, Dave, we know Short Round is like 55 now, but that's still younger than 80.
It's right.
And that actor is on fire. He's freaking bringing it now. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Get him in there.
Everywhere All at Once was great. He's in Loki season 2.
Yep.
Yeah, I can't wait for that.
That scene from the Loki trailer looks
great.
I'm excited for Loki. It looks really good.
Me too. That trailer got me back into it. I'm like, yes, bring it.
And that starts. Currently, it's set to start the Friday after Ahsoka ends on that Tuesday.
Perfect.
So let's hope that Loki is going to get a Thursday night 9 p.m. start time too.
Yeah, that would be great.
I won't be watching Thursday Night Football. I will be watching Loki.
I will also not be watching Thursday Night Football because I never watch Thursday Night Football.
Same here.
Works out.
All right.
The sports and the things.
I just hope both teams have fun.
Yes. Enjoy yourselves.
Say, which color are we rooting for?
Yes. Right.
Well, let's see. You've got Caleb says, I still think they could do that. Have a Disney Plus show simply called Raiders, and a star Short Round and Helena Shaw as
that'd be great.
Archaeology partners. I'd be with that.
I would watch that. I would like that too.
I would totally watch that as well. Let's do it. Great idea, Caleb.
Especially since my daughter is watching Outer Banks, which is a total ripoff of Indiana Jones. What? There's a secret treasure that the founder of this island had, and no one's found it for 70 years. And some plucky high schoolers are gonna figure it out where no one else can. Yay!
Yeah, okay.
Wait, we found that, and someone stole it out from under us. There's even a bigger treasure, and we have to go. Let's do it. Oh, now we're famous, and people are coming. Oh my God! I was like, my daughter loves it, and I was just like, I watched it with her, and I'm like,
been there, done that.
It's like, I don't want to be the boomer that says this has been made a million times, because it's her first time, watching stuff like this. I was hoping she would be Indiana Jones.
Don't tear her down. Yeah.
Yeah, they know.
One of these days, like in 5-10 years from now, she's gonna put on Indiana Jones and be like, that reminds me of the show I used to like, Outer Banks.
Yeah.
Wow.
This is
so
a
similar.
rip-off to Outer Banks.
Right. They ripped him off.
As you silently scream in your head, you're like, oh.
I'll just be like, wait till your kids watch something. Yes.
Well, I have a question for you two gentlemen.
Mm-hmm.
So I know it's only the first 2 episodes, but if you had to give these 2 episodes combined rating for the premiere of Ahsoka, on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you rate this, with 5 being average?
And that's the Doug scale, right?
That is the Doug scale.
Famous Doug scale. What do you think, Keith? I'll let you go first.
As I was watching it, like I said, right from the beginning, as soon as Baylan and Shin landed on that ship, I was totally immersed. I was like enthralled. Mm-hmm. Now, was it perfect? No. But I think watching the first 2 episodes, it has started strong. And depending on how it finishes out, it could get higher. But right now, I think it's about a 7.5 or an 8. I mean, I think it's really well done. I think there's a lot to go on. Now they just have to capitalize on what they've put out there and make it a good show for 8 episodes.
Excellent. Yeah. Like so if I was going to rate like the first episode and the second episode separately, I'd probably say the first episode was a 9 for me. 9 out of 10. Just blew me away. Second episode was a little bit lower for me, so probably like a 7 out of 10. So I would say like 8 out of 10 for the two combined. It's definitely up there when it comes to Star Wars. It definitely got me excited for it. The cinematic quality, just the effects alone. Those ships looked amazing. Like in the opening sequence, just beautifully done. The characters are realized in such a passionate way. There's passion behind this project. You can throw so much money into anything that you're doing. If you don't have the passion and the love there from the creators, you're not going to get magic on the screen. And that's what we're seeing. Literally, we're going to see magic, but this is Star Wars magic that we're seeing on the screen. They're putting it back in the bottle, and I am enjoying the ride. I'm so excited to see where it goes. I'm excited that I don't know. I'm excited that we have mystery back into Star Wars, and that we got these fleshed out, complex characters that actually have great reasons and motives for them doing the things that they have to do. And that we have a story that's being driven by this MacGuffin that we've seen time and time again with a map, but they've done it in a way that's entertaining for me. That seems to make sense. You know, I'm not upset with that whatsoever. So overall, it's really excited. It's getting me back into Star Wars. So 8 out of 10 for me. I'm on board.
Excellent.
And Dave just put in the chat that he gives it a 9. I just wanted more. Woo! And you know what?
I do want more.
I had that same feeling as soon as the second episode ended.
I wanted more too.
I want that next episode now. The hints of Ahsoka showing up before they blast off. I'm.
On one hand, don't get me wrong, I love the water cooler talk or the blue milk talk that we're having here over the fact that we only have the first 2 episodes, but. Oh man, I'm so spoiled by binging certain things that as soon as it ended, I was just like, "That's it? There isn't more." But I need to know what happens next. And as far as what you two gentlemen said, I pretty much agree with like everything. I also would probably easily rate it in 8 out of 10. The for the combined premiere. Oddly enough, I kind of liked the second episode more than the first. I know, I'm weird. There was very little that I could even find remotely, like little nitpicks here and there. Like for instance, on one hand, I was a little put off at first by the text crawl just because it felt so un-Star Wars until I saw the bolded words, and I'm like, okay, they're kind of like, this isn't a movie, so they can't do the standard, fading into
it wasn't an episode, so it had to.
Right. So I see why they had to do it the way that they did. But I don't know. It was, like I said, just a minor nitpick. And then immediately, as soon as we get into the show proper, and they start off immediately on a ship, and it's like, okay, this is Star Wars. I love it.
This is Star Wars. Yep.
And the introduction of our villains, I guess, if you want to call them that. I love their initial scene. I love, like I said, the sort of the reverse Obi-Wan sort of characterization. I love that we immediately, like right out the gate, got a hallway murder scene reminiscent.
We got a hallway scene right away.
Hallway scene. That was great.
Give them what they want.
Yeah.
Works every time.
The one thing that I say that I love about these episodes so far is it's doing what some of the best shows that I love the most. It's combining both world building and character building. And a lot of times that's very difficult to do. Usually you have to pick one or the other. But somehow Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni, they have found a way to combine it. We're getting more on the characters. We're learning more about these characters that we thought we already knew. We're also getting new characters. We're learning more about them. You know that we're going to learn more about the Witches of Dathomir, so we're going to get an expansion on that. But now we're learning all about these other planets, and we're learning about an entirely new galaxy. So we're getting all of this world building and character building, and I love it.
Same.
So what?
And that's
you
awesome.
rated it the same as us.
Yes,
but the one thing I wanted to say, I was with Chris when I saw that text being read, like the text crawl. All I could think of is when they changed it to red in the Clone Wars for the seeds of. I was just like, oh, okay, yes. Be quiet upstairs. I'm trying to watch. I know, right? I want no noise.
And it was like, woo, this is something different. I was like, ooh, this is different, but at the same time familiar. It was kind of the crawl that we were so used to in the movies, but not. And I was just like, oof, oh yeah, it brought all of the elements. It very much encapsulates the show in essence. It gives you what you want from the original trilogy. It brings in the elements from Clone Wars. It gives you something new that we're seeing that we haven't seen before. So it's just, oof, that was, to me, that was perfect.
And what was great, with Dave Filoni writing it, he has written television shows before. So it doesn't feel like that was a weird place to end it. Like when they end the shows, you're like, yep.
No, it felt right.
Good ending.
And I think everything right now is, all signs are pointing to, this being tremendous. But once
this will be a success.
They have to land that finale.
You're right, Doug.
Now, the one thing that we did not mention, and I'm really surprised that we totally dropped the ball on this, because Dave pointed out in our chat earlier, we forgot to bring up Clancy Brown.
Oh God, yes, Clancy Brown. How do we not mention Clancy Brown?
What a way to again bring a character right out of the animation and plop him into live action.
I was sitting there when he came up on the screen. I was just like, yes,
same.
Yes, thank you. I love Clancy Brown. Have since Shawshank Redemption. For God's sake, and this guy has Savage Opress as well.
Savage Opress. But Dave brought up something in our chat on Slack. Should we stand Clancy? And I think we should. I think he definitely is worth standing.
I would vote yes on that one.
I mean, Mr. Krabs, his body of work is incredible. And you're right, ever since I saw him in Shawshank, I've been a fan of every time I see him or hear his voice in anything.
Right.
Isn't he also animated Lex Luthor?
Yeah. Yes, he is from the old animated series.
Yeah, not in Harley Quinn, because that's Giancarlo Esposito. It's like everyone we stand wants to do an animated Lex Luthor.
There you go. Just get all the animated Lex Luthors on the stand. You're good to go. Yeah, it was great to see him. The guy in the background, the senator, was also in Rebels too. I forget his name. But he was actually liberated. He was one of the cadets from the Empire that Ezra got out as well.
Oh,
so
really?
There's all these little characters. Yeah. So the guy that stood up and was like, "Hey, talk for me while I try to get Sabine on the line here." And the E-wings, we didn't even bring up the E-wings that were chasing down Sabine Wren. Looked amazing too. I was like, yes. First time I think we've seen those live action too.
Yeah.
It was and I love that when what is she doing? She's not going to stop. What is she doing? She's like goes underneath. They're just like, okay,
whatever.
We're not
right.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of wonder too. She's a Mandalorian trained Jedi. Yeah, crazy old Sabine Wren, but. Her is like a Mandalorian trained Jedi. I wonder if she will eventually go back to the Mandalorians and start teaching how to use lightsaber. Maybe the Mandalorians will start incorporating lightsaber fighting skills into their plethora of techniques and whatnot.
Well, especially wouldn't it be great to see at the end of this series if we do find out there's some villainous force from the other galaxy coming here, and she's got to go
connection.
to Bo-Katan and be like, listen, this is coming. We need to get the Mandalorians ready.
We need help.
Because if they don't help, we're all going down.
Yes. Teeth, you got a good theory.
What a twist. What a twist would it would be if in this other galaxy, where in the current Star Wars galaxy, she has almost no connection to the Force. But what if in this new galaxy, she's actually the stronger Force magic user?
Yeah, I thought about that too.
You got like Ahsoka is nerfed, and
yeah, that would be role reversals, whatnot. So yeah, maybe. So I had that thought too. I was like, yeah, why are they putting so much emphasis on this, on her training as a Jedi and whatnot, and what's the reason for the story to do this? And yeah, maybe that's a thing, is you go to this other galaxy and whoever is Force sensitive cannot access the Force in the way that they want to. So
Ahsoka goes up to like the first local Force user. So do you have like a high M count? Like you have a lot of midichlorians? Sorry, what? You know, the bugs that give you magic powers. Whoa, wait, what?
Like bugs? Yeah. You guys are infected with these things?
Well, technically.
Quarantine them right away.
And that's where they run into Ezra.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys brought up midichlorians too? Yeah.
You too, guys.
I've been
right?
stuck. He just got a huge beard.
Put us
I've
all
been
in
stuck here for 20 years.
I've been in the clink for 20 years now.
Oh, Lord. That would be a way to meet him. I got a whole system. I smuggle stuff in from the outside.
I've had to eat many a womp rats to survive. Don't feed me very well.
But I've changed my name to Joris Sabaoth.
What? Yeah. Dun, dun, dun.
I got this little space hamster.
Oh, God.
Sounds like a medical condition.
It does.
Yeah, it is.
Well, I think it is getting a little bit late, gentlemen. Oh, we got one. We got a you.
Oh yeah,
you've got Caleb's theory.
Ooh.
We get a scene with Ezra at the end where they find him, but he's gone completely insane from being cut off from the Force in the new galaxy, and he just keeps muttering Yuzin Vong over and over.
Ooh.
Yes.
That'd be something. Just mentioning it. Yeah.
I
think
like
a lot
that.
of people would like that. Yeah, good theory, Caleb, dude.
That's a good theory.
Yeah. I do like
I definitely
that.
like it.
Mm-hmm.
Use on Vong. Use on Vong.
And I love the image of just like a grizzly, long, scraggly beard.
Yeah, I do. Right? Just completely insane.
It's totally unhinged.
I could see him doing something like that too. So something far out there as well. And you know, the Grisk hegemony, they're in the outer space in the Star Wars galaxy, so they're not technically, from all the stuff that we've gotten so far, they're not a part of this new galaxy, the Peridia and whatnot. So you can make that unique for the Yuzon Vong being there as well as the Grisk in this galaxy. That could work. That could totally work. Yeah, I like it.
I like that. I hate when our chat has better theories than we do.
Everybody's got better theories than me. So.
That is not true.
I shoot for them, and rarely do they come true. So it's like, okay.
Yeah, don't go back and watch any of our WandaVision videos then.
Yeah.
That person's definitely Mephisto. I know we said that 12 times now.
Yeah, everybody thought Mephisto was showing up for that one. And the crossing over for Quicksilver and whatnot, but
Yep.
Fantastic Four totally going to show up.
And you know, Dave brought up a good point. When are we going to see Fennec Shan again?
Oh, yeah.
I hope so.
Is she still on the stand? She better still be on the stand for us.
Oh, she definitely is.
Dank, fair.
She is definitely.
Dank, fair.
100%. And don't forget to hit us up at Twitter, leave a comment down below, and we will see you next time on Not Your Status Quo.